Hi, class. Welcome to week 4. We're already halfway through, so we're trucking along pretty good. This week, we're going to talk about medical terms as it relates to the gastrointestinal or GI system, the urinary system, and also the respiratory system. So, real quickly, I want to go over a couple of real quick details about each one of these areas. So first we'll talk about with the GI system or the gastrointestinal tract. Its function is for ingestion, which means taking in food, digestion, which means either the chemical or the physical breakdown of the food, absorption, where you extract the nutrients like your vitamin A and those things you need in your body, and also eliminating waste, or you may call it feces, or the term may be defecation. Um, One area we want to talk about, one key term, is when you see the term gastro, okay, that refers to the stomach. So whenever you see that term, that's a good term to hear. The alimentary canal is one of the metaphorical ways of describing the system. You may hear that term when they talk about the alimentary canal. The term ALIMENT, which has to do with elementary, talks about nutrition. Okay, when we talk about the ingestion and those things of food, the digestive system is probably the term that we probably are most familiar with. Um, Breaking down the food, passing it out through the system. The route that the food takes, real quickly, we'll talk about it. First, food comes to your lips, cheeks. The term for cheek is bucci or bucco. All right. Tongue, glossal or lingual. Palate, teeth would be dentures or orthodont. Incisors, tricuspids, bicuspids, molars, gums, uvula, and then your sweat gland, your salivary glands, excuse me. With your salivary glands, once you start to taste food, those salivary saliva is made inside your mouth in order to start that digestive process. So when we talk about the mastication of food, that's the chewing of food. Okay. So once you go into that cavity from the mastical cavity, that becomes the stomach. Okay. So that's where all the digestion and the breakdown of your food, your stomach churns back and forth because it's got a lot of muscles in there in order to be able to churn that food and digest it. The next area you have is the appendicular cavity, which consists of your small intestines, which is considered, your term would be enter. Your large intestines would be your colon or colon. Those would be those organs that are there. Next area is your urinary system. Okay, your urinary system is responsible for cleansing the blood, regulating your blood pressure, maintaining homeostasis. We talked about that initially, maintaining that level to make sure everything's. Uh, the lymphatic system is responsible. What you call it? I'm sorry. In your urinary system, the main how you want to say it, um, the main area is your kidneys. Okay, the term for kidney is nephro or renal. Okay, those are the areas. You have two kidneys. They're located in the retroperitoneal cavity. Each kidney is about the size of your fist. Okay, um, those, how you want to say it? I'm trying to keep it really simple so you can understand it. So the lymphatic system, and I was saying earlier, the lymphatic system is also for cleaning that cellular environment, returning the proteins and tissues back into the blood. All that whole process is what goes through the system in order for you to be able to urinate. Because all of that leftover waste and those things, that all comes out through your kidneys into the urine and passes out through the body. So we talked last week about that lymph. That extra lymph does also pass through the kidneys also. You kind of think of your body as a drain, okay? So like your how you gonna say it? Your anus, where the food comes out and you pee out, that's like a drain. So everything that comes in has to come out. And that's one area that your urinary system and your digestive system is responsible for, to make sure all that stuff, after it's being used, is ought to be able to pass out through the system. I hope I didn't confuse anybody, but that's basically what it is. The next area is your reproductive, your respiratory system. Its function is to take in oxygen and let out carbon dioxide, which is your breathing, okay? It's also responsible for filtering and warming and humidifying the air. It's responsible for regulating your blood pH. And it's also responsible for your speech, your sound, and your olfactory. As we said, when you inhale oxygen, that's called inspiration. When you let out carbon dioxide, that's called exhalation. Now, in your respiratory system, you have an upper respiratory tract and you have a lower respiratory tract. In your upper respiratory tract, that consists of your nose, your parasinuses. If you see the term sinus or sino, that talks about your sinuses. You have your pharynx and your larynx. In your lower respiratory tract, you have your trachea, the bronchial tubes. If you see this term trachea, that has to do with the trachea. You have the bronchi, which is inside the lungs. You have the bronchioles, alveoli, and then also you have your lungs. Your lungs also have lobes inside of them too, and we'll talk about that in a second. So your lower respiratory system begins with the windpipe, it extends throughout the space into your lungs, through the trachea, then the trachea divides off into different areas, which is called your bronchioles or bronchioles. The lung has two lobes. It has a right and lower. So the right lung has 3 lobes, and the left only has 2, to break it up into 2. One big thing I want to say is if you guys are having any difficulty with the material, we're going to talk about it in a second, but I know this lecture is brief. There's a lot of material in here to cover. These 2 areas are very, very important. There's a lot of terms that you will need in this particular area. Please, if you can, if you're having difficulty, participate in the tutoring. It's going to be very, very, very helpful to you, for you to be able to understand this stuff, because it's a lot. Before we finish up, real quick, don't forget our format for our assignments. Some of you guys have still been submitting your work with pictures. Those are unacceptable. You have a worksheet. Use that worksheet. Fill out your worksheet, save it, and then submit it. Discussion boards. Make sure your primary post is posted by Wednesday. Your response posts need to be posted by Sunday, and those dates are already inside the course itself, so you know the actual time when those are due. Your quiz for this week is going to cover chapters 5, 6, and 11. Remember, it's due on Sunday. Again, tutoring sessions, I can't push those enough. If you're having difficulties, please do it. You can also reach out to me, because if you have any questions, I can help you as much. And everybody's been doing very well in reaching out to me with questions, so I'm able to do that. Please review the late policy. Make sure you get your assignments on time. I have announcements out there. Review your announcements on a regular basis. I have announcements when this is due, when this assignment is due. So you have that. You have those reminders. So read your announcements. Very, very, very important. My office hours are on Mondays from 5 to 6. I will be online in the Zoom. Just pop into the Zoom area, click onto it. I'll take everyone in one at a time. I'm here, okay? So I'm here from 1 to 6. Online, you have any questions, please reach out to me and I'll help. So everyone have a great week, have a great weekend, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. All right, we're almost there. Take care.